Share your love on someone you can trust. You're never weak. I see you strong. And is it me you love? Me you want? Me you us? Good evening, everyone. This is your host and Lioness Queen, Sister V, right here on the Fireside Chat on IntellectualRadio.com. Joining me today, y'all. I'm excited. Can I just say I am excited on today, on this November. What's today, Jay? Today is the 9th, 2025. Hope all is well on this evening, guys. It's a lot going on in the land, but we soldiers, we do this. You know, we keeping the faith, we keeping our head up high. That's what we do as believers. That's what we do. The just shall live by faith. I'm going to keep saying that because when you can't see your way, God already done made the way. And I just believe it. I live it. I experienced it. And I got to stand on it, y'all. So I'm just super duper excited on today, you guys. It's been a long week. And for all of you who know what I'm talking about, you get to the end of the week and got to restart again with work and some more. You understand how happy you are that you made it through the week. Okay. So I am met here today, y'all. When I tell y'all I'm so elated. This is my sister friend, my co-host on today. She really don't need no introduction to the faith community, but for all of y'all that do not know her, her name is Julia Jackson. And I don't know if she was Miss Jackson in the house, y'all. For those of us who are from the faith community, we know her as a praise and worship leader, a prophetic praise and worship leader. Her voice is so amazing and anointed. But outside of that, I always say that there's a difference between a singer and a person who God uses to minister in song. You can sing and not minister. But we know that she ministers to us through praise and worship, has some of us on the floor snot and some more, just God just fall in the building. I love her humble spirit. She is the CEO and founder of Tamar Speaks. And in a little bit, I'm going to get her to expound on that and talk about a little bit about what we can expect from her in the future. So I want to say to my co-host today, welcome, sister.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. I am elated that you accepted the invitation to come on here after putting me in the waiting list for over. Yeah, we're gonna have fun today, y'all. This is my sister right here. I listen.
Yeah, we do this every day.
This what we do. You know what I'm saying? And what's so special about her and some others is that we was nested together growing up in God. Like we had a period of time in our life where we nested together. We was in the same ministry, worked together, we got rebuked together, and some more.
Yes.
Been through a lot of storms together, and just being able to be blessed to have such a powerful lineage behind us from those in the faith that imparted into us. We just at some point settled in on our different and knew that we was a little bit different from a lot of people. And we just began to embrace our identity, which is not easy to do. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about alive and well. Alive and well. And so I know that it's been, like I said, we've been through some turbulence, even coming in from 2024, 2025. In addition to that, in 2020, a lot of us lost loved ones, for COVID and different things. And I know over the last 4 years, it wasn't COVID, but I lost my baby sister and I lost my dad 2024 January. So today we just want to talk about being alive and well, because many times we are alive, meaning we're breathing, we're living, we're going from day to day doing what we do, but we are not well sometimes. And we just want to talk about it today. We want everybody to feel comfortable and welcome. We're not here to criticize anyone. We're not having this is not a put down. This is a build up, edifying moment that we want you to be encouraged that, listen, if you alive and you not well, tune into this conversation, y'all, because we're going to walk through some things, and we want y'all to be encouraged on today. All right. So here goes. I wanted to talk about the scripture and open up with this scripture, that in him we live and we move and we have our being in him. And so I don't know. And again, she a co-host, so if she start flowing, y'all just hey, let's gonna let her flow. But I was gonna say, you know, what has it been like? And you can always, switch it over to if you want to open up differently. But I want to say, what does it feel like to be in God? You know that God is in you and you are in him. And but sometimes it feels like I don't have my being.
Right.
I don't feel myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm not present within myself. I've been through some things that took me on a ride, and I'm trying to find myself again, and I don't know how to get back to myself. Can you help us understand what's happening, what you believe from your experience is happening, and what you believe the process back to yourself may look like?
Well, I think it's a part of humanity because as long as time remains, you're gonna go through something. You're gonna go through something. You're gonna deal with something. You're gonna go through some grief. You're gonna deal with heartache, heartbreak, um, friendships ending, relationships ending. It's a part of life, and I think that sometimes we don't know how to cope when tragedy happens, when death comes, when it's time to grieve, when it's time to break up, when it's time to leave one situation and go into another. Sometimes we don't know how to navigate those seasons. We don't even know how to recognize that we're almost outside of ourselves. We get so used to the daily routine and going to work, going to dinner, coming home, cooking, cleaning, doing the same routine every day that sometimes you're not aware of yourself. You're
Yeah.
not aware, hey, you checked out 3 weeks ago. You haven't been yourself in months.
My God.
You haven't been happy or joyful or at peace. You haven't smiled. And sometimes I think going through life in a routine, we can be going so fast through life that we don't see it. Sometimes it actually take people on the outside looking in and say, "You okay? You don't seem right. Some seem a little off with you." And so when you take the time to recognize yourself and where you are, then you can kind of figure out how to move in your season. What do I need to do to get better? What do I need to do to bounce back? What do I need to do to feel healthy, not just be alive? What do I need to do to be alive and well?
Well,
You see what I'm saying? I don't want to
yes.
just be alive and I'm sick. And I'm not just talking about physical sick. I'm talking about mentally not okay. Our mind is not right. Sometimes our thinking is all jumbled. What does it look like to be alive and not well?
Mm,
You're living and you're breathing, but you crying and you don't even know what you're crying about. You struggling with depression and oppression. Like I heard somebody say, as I definitely used to do it. Go home and pull the curtains, laying in the dark, crying, don't know what's wrong with me, just literally crying for weeks and weeks and weeks, and could not pinpoint what was wrong with me. Had no idea I was struggling with depression,
see,
manic depressed. It took me to go get diagnosed to realize, oh, okay, something is really going on with me.
I like when you said it took for you to go and get
Yeah.
diagnosed. What I notice that happens with us sometimes, and I have to say, shout out to the chat, Tanya Fields. God bless you too, baby. Thank you for joining. Jewel, hi, sister. She say, hey, sister.
Hey,
Kaya, thank you
sister.
for watching.
Hey,
She say, hey, y'all.
y'all.
So I want to know how many of us, it's something I think about, that are faith filled believers that will suffer from life events and feel guilty for reaching outside of what we know and been taught to go and see about ourselves. And so now my faith becomes a competitor
Yeah.
with outside resources
Hmm.
when my faith is what should compel me to use those
Right.
resources because I trust God that He's going to use this resource to help me. And so I really, really, really want the people of God to be okay when you have to talk to somebody, when you got to see a therapist, when you got to see a psychiatrist. And I don't even want to touch on medication, because that's a sensitive topic and I don't want to go to that depth. But what I will say as a woman that deals with children in a population who use that as a resource to regulate and stabilize themselves, I will say it's no different from taking it for high blood pressure, diabetes, when your brain is sick
Hmm.
and you stuck and you know that your life is just passing you by, you alive but you're not well, you can't
Hmm.
regulate on your own. I would just give you this hint. They first of all, let me tell you that people don't just experiment on you. They literally allow you the choice to choose the lowest dose possible to start you out. They allow you to make a decision to switch over if that's what you need to do. But I just want to say don't rule it out because you just never know which way it's you're going to receive the help that you need to be well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. I was telling somebody yesterday the disappointment when you're dealing with mental issues or when you're dealing with whatever it is that's hurting you on the inside. When most people know my parents both died in 2021, I believe, and they passed away 6 months apart. I think I was harder on myself than other people was. And I was so upset and disappointed because I wasn't healing as quick as I wanted to. I was still grieving when I thought the grieving process should have been over, right? I'm like, why am I still having these breakdowns? Why am I still not able to mention my parents without crying and without breaking down? Why am I still grieving the way that I am grieving? And so I started being more hard on myself because the expectation from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, you are a believer, and those that die in the Lord, I don't know the rest of the scripture, they gone to heaven. So you should not be grieving a certain way because your mom died and she went to heaven. And your father died, and for a fact you walked him through the sinner's prayer. So he went to heaven. So you should not be grieving a certain way because your parents went to heaven. But that didn't stop my heart from being broke.
Correct.
That did not stop me from being traumatized and not knowing how to function in a world where I have functioned with both parents for this amount of years, and now I don't have either. I don't have mom. I don't have dad as a grown woman. What does that look like? Because you only get to go through your parents' death once. This is not something you rehearse. You know what I'm saying? You're not,
Wow.
this is not something that you can rehearse over and over until you get it right. No, you only have one set of parents, unless
One
you have
set.
godparents or stuff like that. You don't get to practice what you're going to do and how you're going to feel and how you're going to navigate your life after you lose your parents. And so sometimes I think we need to be a little more compassionate on ourselves.
Compassionate.
Let yourself grieve. Now, we know you can't stay in it. You cannot live in grief. You cannot
Cannot.
park your car there. You cannot unpack your bag. You cannot move into the house. You cannot stay in a place of grief. But you also cannot rush yourself out and let nobody else rush you out either.
That's very good. That's very good because the demand for the person who you were before you start to grieve. Grief will change your life.
Yeah.
It'll change you, and in a way that, first of all, you disconnect, you go numb, and all of a sudden, the things that you used to take interest in, you no longer are interested
Yeah.
anymore. And that it does not exclude church.
Mhm.
Um, Church is a living organism. It's something the Lord uses to help us build us up. It it's a good place to be for community sake, right? But I think sometimes, the expectation is for church to be exempt from the list. I don't want to be bothered today.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm glad the Lord using you. I'm happy that, y'all going on, but I'm in a place where I'm trying to regulate again. I'm trying to come through something, some heartbreak that broke my heart to pieces. And right now, I don't really want to hear a word. I don't mean no harm, but right now, I need somebody just gonna just either sit and listen to me when I want to talk, give me some hugs, bring me some food, or whatever you feel like you want to do, and leave me to time that's going to get me through this hardship in my life. You know, so I recall when I lost my sister,
Mhm.
I found myself in a low place. And see, for me, this is Fireside Chat, y'all, right here on IntellectualRadio.com. Okay. I found myself, and some people be like, "Oh my God, you're the woman of God." No, I'm a person, is
Yeah.
what I am. And so, I love to keep it a buck. I'm transparent like that, baby. Me and that, what is it, Stella Rose, baby? I couldn't sleep. First of all, my sister passed away. God bless her. God rest her soul. My baby sister, and I ended up with my two nieces. So we're all grieving. I was not well.
Mhm.
I was alive to live through watching her suffer all the way till she died. And now I have to grieve, but I kind of had to pause my grief
Yeah.
because I got to attend to her children that at the time was 12 and 16-year old, and Marcus, I think, was 19 and a half. Either way,
Yeah.
it was not an easy journey for me. And people can say that I don't, hey, if you try to throw a stone, your arm's gonna fall off. I promise you. I promise you your arm's gonna fall off. So I found myself, and this is what I'm finna, this is really key how the Holy Spirit ministered to me. I found myself, I walked in the liquor store and I had not been in there in about 2 decades. So I had no idea what was this stuff. But I recall seeing that wine Stella Rose somewhere that somebody said something good about it. So I'm like, well, it ain't strong. So, I just want to go to sleep.
Mhm.
I got the biggest bottle they had, took it home. I made it in front of the driveway and I just drank it like it was a pop because I was thirsty. It was hot outside. I just drank it. And even in that, this how, let me tell you something. You cannot go so low where God can't grab you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. You cannot go so low where the love of God cannot grab you. Right. And I can hear people in my ear, well, you should have just called me. We could have prayed. Girl, be quiet. But anyway,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the Lord came right through that moment and said to me, you see how you got this low in your pain and your despair
Mhm.
that you turn to this.
Yeah.
He said, the only difference between you and the person you see on the street struggling with this
Mhm.
is that you know the way.
Yeah.
They made this their God and their comfort, but you know the God of all comfort. Now, one time did the Lord chastise me, rebuke me for what I
Yeah.
was doing.
Yeah.
It's something about when you not well.
Yeah.
Whew, when you not well,
Mhm.
Jesus is still alive on the throne to make you well.
Mhm.
And some people can say, oh, girl, that ain't nothing. I did more than that. Well, I'm talking about, listen, you go to that low place, God gonna meet you. The
Yeah.
scripture say, I made my bed in hell and he was there with
Mhm.
me. I can't think of no time where I was not well and I was not making well
Mhm.
decisions because I was not well, that the Lord walked off and left me. But he loved me through it
That's
and
right.
he picked me back up.
That's right.
So I just tell the truth. I have to speak of his goodness because
Mhm.
this is not a rule driven religious relationship. It started with me being broken and bruised.
And you said something about going low.
Hmm.
One of my favorite quotes is from Corey Ten Boom. She has a quote that says, "There is no depth that God is not deeper still." And that just means there is no depth too deep for God. God is deeper than the deepest depth. He can go lower than the lowest low. So even when you think you have hit rock bottom, you too far gone. Been there. I done messed up, saved, and not saved.
Talk about
I
it,
have
Jay.
messed up when I was a saint and a sinner. Can I just say, you can't tell on me better than I can tell on myself.
Preach that truth.
You don't have no tea on me that I can't spill on myself. I
Yes.
have messed up as a sin, as a saint and a sinner. And I remember
And
when I I remember I told you this a few weeks ago when I was messing up, and I was I had been saved at that time for 9 years, and then I started messing up. I was tripping real bad, and I mean I was making a mess. Everything was a mess, and I started saying, I'm not saved anymore. I'm not saved anymore. And the Lord spoke to me right then and there. He said, do not take away your confession. He said, never let people take away your confession of salvation. If
that's
part of your
good.
salvation is the confession, when you take away the confession, you taking away the salvation. And I'm going to tell you why.
That's
Because
good.
if life and death is in the power of your tongue, then that means whatever I speak, that's what I am. So if I start saying, I'm not saved anymore, I'm not saved anymore, pretty soon, them words going to catch up with my life. And
Mm,
pretty soon, I'm really not going to be saved anymore because I have let people and me look at my mess ups and tell me that I'm no longer saved.
that's good, Jay.
When all it takes is repentance.
That's all.
You don't know what somebody has had a conversation with the Lord about. You're looking at the outward, but God says He looks at the heart. And while they look a mess on the outside, we don't know if they cried out to the Lord saying, I don't want to be this way.
That's right.
I can't get out. I'm trying to get out. I don't know how to get. We don't know somebody's conversation with the Lord. But I really just wanted to piggyback off that. There is no depth that God is not deeper still. There is no mess
Deeper
up
still.
that you can mess up. God not like us. We give up on people. God don't give up on people.
God don't give up
We
on
quit on
us.
people, talk about people, slander folk, spilling people tea in the name of exposure. We do all of this, but that's not God.
That's not.
We think God like man, and God is not like man.
I'm so
He
glad
is
he
not.
not.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he not. Uh, I'm not finna even think about your quote unquote daughter-in-law in this chat. When I know she responded to what I said. I walked to the liquor store and I ain't know what to buy. Tell me I should have sent her. I don't got time for Shemaya tonight. I don't got time for you tonight, Shemaya. Shout out to the chat. Minister Annie, thank you for joining. Oh my goodness. Latanya Fields hanging in there with us. Thank you so much. Mrs. Stewart, my sister-in-law at Stella is watching tonight. It's a miracle. What up, Jimmy? So good to see you in the chat. I just so happy to see y'all tonight. We talking about being alive and well, and we are expounding on how God's love has no limit. I don't care how low you are, what you done, He's still right there ready to restore us. So I wanted to also touch on with being alive and well, and I didn't get a chance. So when you are a functioning gift,
Mhm.
you're a functioning gift. You sing, you pray, you preach, you do whatever. And I want to say this: nobody is exempt from life. You're not exempt from going low. This is why I don't like to sit up and listen to a whole bunch of stuff about preachers falling and different things like that because it doesn't do anything but remind us of that we not walking in the love of God for real. And I'm not talking about those that have decided they're going to walk two lives. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when a person hit a place in their life and they're not well and they start making wrong decisions. And even though we talk a good game, just get up, God gonna pick you up and He gonna clean you off, and God is in love. And we say all of that until it hit our door. And we be the first ones to try to pick up a stone. I don't have to operate like I'm somewhere that I'm not when I'm hurt and I'm wounded and I'm having a life experience. No one is exempt for life experience. We're all going to lose loved one. You're all going to experience some type of heartbreak, loss, divorce, losing a job. All of us are going to experience that. And the expectation for me to get up and continue to operate like these things are not going on is really what's the word, the famous word everybody like to use, it's diabolical for you to
Yeah, because it's benefiting you, but I'm dying on the inside. You're receiving and I'm dying because I'm not well.
I'm not well.
The expectation to continue on. And then I think we need to make up our mind what it is we want from people. Because if I'm not well and I am bleeding all over the place and I get up and I minister, then it said you bleeding all over people. So if I decide I don't want to bleed all over people, I'm going to take time to heal. Then it said you taking too long to heal. It's almost like we need to really make up our mind what it is we want from people. What are reasonable expectations from people? And I know from experience that ministering to other people, because I did it for a long time. And when I say the Lord really used me, but I wasn't well.
Mhm.
I'm watching people get a breakthrough, but I'm mentally feeling like I'm losing my mind. I am struggling. I am having panic attacks. I am going through anxiety. I am not,
Jesus.
my mind isn't right. And then when I get on the stage and I take the mic and I allow the Lord to come in and do what he do, he does it well because God is God. And the people need, it has to be met. There's a need. Somebody came here needing something.
Amen.
And so God is going to meet the need. But when the microphone is put down and I go back to my normal self, I still have to face the fact, Julia, you're not well.
That's good, Jay.
You're not well. So now we need to get to the root of why you're not well. What is ailing you? What is making you sick? What is making you unwell? What is making your emotions like a roller coaster? You happy today and the next 2 days you're not. And then you're happy. And then what is it that's causing you to not be well? There's a reason for everything. And that's what Tamar Speaks really came from.
Okay. Yeah, we got to hit that before it's over. We got to talk about Tamar Speaks. Uh, but I've been in that situation before as well. And, we're wise women,
Yeah.
right? So we know what to say and what not to say. But I will say that something happens to my trust when I'm not well and I don't feel like I can say it, and it move you with compassion enough to tell me, hey, see about yourself.
Yeah.
The demand for me to show up anyway. And that's
Mhm.
not to say that every little thing you're supposed to go run and hide. And the things that we do to condemn folks and say, you're supposed to be instant in season, out of season now.
Yeah.
All this stuff, these cliche things that
Mhm.
at the end of the day, if I'm not okay, I'm no good to nobody, not
Yeah.
myself, not my children, not ministry,
Mhm.
not no one. I remember being a wounded prayer warrior. I'm talking about ICU wounded. I'm talking about barely here,
Yeah.
alive and not well. I was alive. I knew how to pray out of habit.
Mhm.
I knew how to pray out of know how,
Yes.
but I knew down within my knower that I was not well. And what I remember yearning for, I just want somebody to see me, and I want somebody to help me. And I don't want to have to fight right now through being condemned because I'm unable to show up and be a face. It teaches you how to wear a mask. I feel this way, but I'm gonna go and mask it because I got to get through this service, and then I got to get through another and all this stuff, and then I can understand why it's a repetitious thing. Going to the altar, God crack it open like boom, hit it, let's go. You need to go deeper. You need to heal. You need to get before me and get healed. But when that pressure is on you, the demand to show up anyway. I know you grieving, but that you got to come on because I need you. No, you don't need me that bad. So for me, I just remember this and shout out to my mother in the faith, Diamond Cut. She was a very known as pastor down at Sassmore. She was a very, God used her as an instrument to bosom me through some things. Uh, I didn't know who she was for real. I did not know who she was for real. I thought, oh, I knew her face from being around, but I didn't know her for real. So it was one night I remember having this experience. It's like, you ever been so hurt where you wake up crying in your sleep? I was so hurt because I was in a battle taking hits and I was already not well. And so when God showed me her face, and I thought, I don't really know this lady. I'm scared to go talk to her. I don't really know her like that. But sometimes God have to reach outside of our circle to give us what we need. And that you can't be worried about what's being misinterpreted and what things looking like, because the main thing you need to know, underneath your calling, your gift, your everything you're doing for God, the Lord wants you to be well. He wants you to be okay so that he can use you and it don't be a burden to you and you don't end up hating your gift because you feeling like, God, you making me do this unwell, and he's not the one making you do it unwell. So long story short, I end up connecting with her, and I took my time and I just let go of everything I thought was expected of me. I let go of everything people thought I was and everything. I let go all of it. And I seized the moment as to why God want to sit me with this woman of God, to bosom me, to pour into me, to listen to me, to give me wisdom. And it was the best thing ever, because God is not short of what we need. But what we cannot do is put God in a box and tell him you can only use these people. God gonna use what's yielded to him, available to him, and what he himself can trust people with, especially when you're broken and vulnerable.
And I agree that sometimes the best thing to do is to step outside of your surroundings, find somebody that's not too familiar with you, because sometimes people can give you counseling off what they heard, off what somebody else said, off of what they think they know about you. It can be then you really don't know what to make of that. So sometimes it's best to find somebody that don't know too much about you, that can
Mhm.
start fresh, get you some fresh eyes and some fresh
Yes.
ears. For me,
Very important.
I'm telling you, I never expected to feel like I was suffocating in Chicago. I never expected to feel like, after my parents died and then my aunties left, they abandoned me. I don't know if they still on here, but they abandoned me. My auntie Charlotte, my auntie Eddie, y'all abandoned me.
Oh
No.
no. And we said, hey,
after my
we
parents
breaking the
passed,
rules.
after my parents passed and my aunties left and moved, I felt like I was suffocating in Chicago, and I'm like, I can't stay here. I gotta get out of here. I just couldn't. I literally could not breathe. I could not stay. So I went to Wisconsin to be with my sister. I needed to be around siblings and somebody that I had grew up with and somebody that knew me. I just needed something that was no longer available to me in Chicago.
Gotcha.
So I had to get up out of there. Whatever it takes for me to get better, the only thing that matters to me is that I get
That's
better.
it.
I needed to be well. And it took me a while. And I still have my moments and I still have my days. And like you said about the gift, everybody know that I sing. Everybody know that I am a worshiper. But for whatever reason, it was like that was the last thing that I was connecting with. I couldn't connect my heart back. And even now, while I'm sitting here, I can't explain that. I couldn't connect my heart back to something that I had did for over 20 years. And I understand that people go um the cosmetics of, okay, you're supposed to praise him all the time. Worship should always be in your mouth. But even to the point of not being able to pray, do you understand? I honor God for every shut-in I went to, for every time I
Come
sat there and
through.
prayed without nobody telling me,
My
for every
God.
time I laid up in the middle of the night in my own house and stored up prayers for every, because the season came, I didn't know it was coming, where I couldn't pray. I didn't have the strength to do anything. And singing was the last thing on my mind. I was so disconnected from all of it, even the four walls. It wasn't anything personal. It wasn't about anybody. Nobody did anything to me.
Say that.
Myself was just, I was already feeling a big disconnect myself. And when my parents died, I just feel like my whole self just disconnected from everything that I knew before they died. And even sitting in this
Hey,
chair
my
now,
God.
I cannot
Mm.
explain that. I can only tell you my experience and what I felt like. And it's a weird thing to not identify with yourself, right? Because I identify with being a writer and a worship leader for such years.
You
I've
did?
been singing since I was a kid.
Yes.
And now I'm going to go write and I'm going to go sing. And it's like, what is this? I don't feel any type of connection to it. So now I look like a stranger to me because I
My
don't look
God.
like the same person I was before I lost my parents. This is a version of me that I don't even know what I'm going to look like when God get through with it. I have
Whew.
no idea who this new version of me is going to be. I just know I don't look like I did 4 years ago. I look like a different person to me.
Yes, because you do. You evolve and you do become a different person.
Yeah.
When I was walking through this journey, the Spirit of God told me, He said, I'm getting ready to introduce you to you.
Mm.
Not the you feel like you had to be for people,
Yeah.
not the you the church expects you to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to introduce you to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, interesting. How is that?
Yeah.
Because trauma, for those of us who study trauma and trauma informed, trauma changes your brain. It changes your brain and your lenses don't look the same.
Mm-hmm.
By the time your brain start to heal and you come through and you evolve, you're a person that has evolved from that pain,
Mm-hmm.
that suffering has molded you and shaped you into somebody brand new that your old crowd, old surroundings may not even be able to identify this new you that's
True.
come through. You're an entirely different person. That's why everybody that start with you won't finish with you
Yeah.
because you like that a version of me. I'm not her anymore. And
Right.
I've experienced this
Mm-hmm.
where I was a version of myself that you learned to like for whatever the reason, or maybe it benefited you well because she was insecure. She didn't really know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I done came through and standing flat footed in who I am, baby, listen. That devil run up, you gonna get done up. I promise you.
It's like, let me find out who I am now. Let me identify. Let me get acquainted with my new identity. I
Yes.
can't quite help anybody until I figure out who this new person is and what she's
Yes.
supposed to look like and what she represents because she is not the same.
She is not
She
the
is not the
same.
same.
I'm not the same, y'all. I love this new me. God, thank you for introducing me to me. Thank you very much, God. I love her. I absolutely am in love with her.
What they
Every
saying?
part of her. I want to go to the chat real quick. Hi, cousin Michelle, praying for you, sweetheart. Shanika. Shanika. Nini is in the chat. Okay, she said something. She even I don't know what she's saying right there. Antoinette, what's up, Antoinette? It says sometimes that's the thing that kills you, that that you do it wounded. I'm
Yes.
thinking she's saying that you keep working while you wounded.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's gonna take
Mm.
you out for real.
I knew how to pray out of habit. That would preach. Oh, baby, that's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit told me, He said, baby, that was residue.
Yeah.
You weren't in a position to do nothing but kneel and get before me for
Mm-hmm.
you, but you kept running out of obedience because you felt like you should do it because you was asked to do it, but you did me a disservice because you was
Yeah.
broken doing it. So,
And what is this grief competition? I'm not in a competition with anybody to grieve faster or slower. This is not a competition. Everybody grieve and handles grief differently. Okay. Well, after my cousin died, I was back up and running the next day. That has nothing to do with the next person.
thank you for pointing that out.
That doesn't have anything to do with me or Vanessa or somebody else who lost a loved one. People grieve differently at their own pace. The important thing is you cannot stay there. I said it earlier. You
Yes.
cannot park your car there. You cannot move in. You can't take your clothes. You cannot stay in grief. And it's something nobody can avoid. There was a lot of phone calls I avoided when I intentionally really I first of all I wasn't in the headspace to do a whole lot of talking, and then the
Yes.
other part of me was I felt bad for people. I felt bad for people because I didn't want anybody to take on a false burden that they had to say something to fix me or that they had to say something to make me feel better. I did not want anybody walking away wondering, I wonder did I say something to make her feel better. I wonder is she I didn't want nobody with that false burden because the one thing I know about grief, and I know this now more than anything, as long as you live, you will never avoid dealing with grief.
You won't.
There is no shortcut. Nobody can put you in and nobody can take you out. But God, He is the only sustainer of your mind. Yes, it's okay to talk to people, because sometimes it's not good to be isolated. I know that it's not good to be isolated and stay to yourself. I'm just saying, I never wanted people to feel like they had to fix me, or I never wanted people to feel like they had to say something to take the grief away. I didn't want nobody having that false burden.
And it is a false burden because you can't take it away.
Yeah.
But I also think that don't burden me into wanting me to hurry up and process my grief for your own selfish benefits. And you talked about that. I'm so serious.
Yes.
So, we don't do people no service. We don't serve them good in
Yeah.
that way, however long it takes. Just know that God is coming. He's
Mhm.
coming in his timing, but he is not even rushing me. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, yes, she say, Lord, talk to me. Yes, Michelle. We're talking about grief, being a way that you are alive but not well,
Yeah.
and that it's okay not to be well. Right here on IntellectualRadio.com, Fireside Chats, where we're having this conversation that's heated today. So now we done discovered that grief is one of the reasons why you can be alive and not well. But no matter how unwell you are, and decisions you make while you like that, just know that God is willing and ready for you to get back on your feet, and you can come to him and cry as long as you need to, pull on your support, and do not expect for people to be in a position to thrive like they did
Yeah.
before they lost their loved one. So I want to talk about something else that causes us to be alive and not well, and that is trauma.
Yes.
Be it childhood
Mhm.
trauma, divorce, breakups. Some of us that's in and out of relationship like revolving door ain't never sat down a heel. Just
Mhm.
out here being broken over and over
Yes.
again. And so you came up with something, and I'm gonna let you come your own way. Your I would say ministry,
Mhm.
organization that the Lord is using you to have birthed it, and is using it's going to use you to draw people in that have been hurt through trauma.
Yeah.
um Entitled Tamar Speaks.
Mhm.
Tell us what birthed Tamar. How do you identify with Tamar?
Right.
And how do you feel the people who you're called to identify with Tamar?
Right.
With Tamar?
Well, Tamar Speaks was really birthed out of trauma. Everybody, I don't know if I'm not going to say everybody knows, but just to make a long story short, Tamar was raped by her own brother, and she was told by her other brother to keep silent, to don't speak on the matter. Um, and when you read further on in the scripture, Tamar literally lived in the brother's house who gave her the advice not to speak. She lived desolate in his house for the remainder of her days. Well, Tamar to me died in arrested development.
Mm.
She never fulfilled her potential. She never lived out her dream. She never lived out her goals because she never spoke. She was instructed not to speak, not to, even though her brother felt like he avenged her rape by murdering the brother that raped her.
Mm.
You took matters in your own hand and you avenged one side, but you never healed Tamar, who was the victim.
Now, Tamar is a character out of the Bible for those of us that's watching that's not,
Yeah.
knowledge of the scripture. Do you know where we can find this story?
I have to remember, but
Okay,
when I get it, I'm definitely gonna put it
post it.
in the app. I'm gonna post it.
Okay.
But yes, you have to speak, because part of your deliverance and part of your freedom and part of your freedom from your trauma is speaking. And so one day I was walking around my house and I was asking the Lord, can you show me where this depression came from? The manic, like I said earlier, I was diagnosed at 18 as being manic depressed. And I was given pills for insomnia because I literally would be woke for 3 days. What made me go and see a doctor?
3 days.
What made me go and see a doctor was
Oh
after I stayed woke for 72 hours. I noticed 3 days that I was still woke, and I knew that something wasn't right. And I went to go see a doctor, and they told me that I was depressed. They gave me pills for medication for depression, which I never took. They also gave me medication for insomnia. And I was asking the Lord to reveal to me the root of my depression. Where is this coming from? Why am I struggling this bad? And he revealed to me that it came from childhood trauma and instructed me in that moment to go and read the story of Tamar. Now, while thank God, my brothers were not the people who violated me, I was still violated nonetheless. And I still didn't speak on a lot of my trauma and a lot of the things that happened to me until I got older. And the Lord let me know, the more you speak and the more you open up doors and give people opportunities, no matter what the trauma is, the more you give people the opportunity to speak, the more you're going to see people set free.
That's awesome.
You're going to see them free, because speaking, there is power in your words. There is power in you telling your story. Now, this is what I always say. I always say, if you're going to tell your story, I'm not here to put people on blast. My goal is to help people get set free. So if you're going to tell your story, I would prefer you to tell it to somebody that can help you,
That's
that
good.
can walk you through the next step, that can instruct you, that can give you wisdom and knowledge on how to get healed and what should I do next. The goal of Tamar speaking is to give people a platform to speak,
Tell
to
it.
tell it.
Mm.
Because if you don't tell it, you're going to die with that.
Woo.
That kills your dreams, that kills your aspirations, that kills your goal, that kills every not speaking and not telling and keeping secrets like that. It takes a toll on your physical body.
Yes, it does.
It makes you physically sick.
Yes, it
You
does.
have to speak. You have to tell it. You have to be willing to speak up about it. I'm gonna speak on this one thing and then I'm done. My mom, I remember when I was going, my mom, I get my sensitivity from my mom. My mother is a crybaby.
She a tender tatty, y'all.
And I cry at a drop of a dime, just like my mom. And I remember saying, I wanted to say something. I wanted to have a hard conversation with my mom.
Come on.
Because I needed,
You helping somebody.
I didn't need to yell at her. I didn't need to scream at her. I didn't need to dishonor her. I needed to just say, this is what hurt me about this story. This is what broke my heart. I needed to, and I would not do it because I didn't want to make my mom cry. I didn't want to make her feel some type of way. I didn't want to offend her. And I remember the Holy Spirit spoke to me this so clear. He said, you're going to have to make your mom cry so that you can be free. The most
That's so
powerful
good.
thing I've ever heard.
Wow.
The most powerful thing I ever heard. And a couple of months before my mom passed, I ended up being in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. It's okay, Jay.
I ended up being in Florida for 2 months. I didn't know she was going to pass away 3 months after I left, but I ended up being there. I was only supposed to stay for 2 weeks, and I ended up being there for 2 months. And while I was there, I would sit in the recliner and lean back in the chair, and we would literally talk all night. We would talk all night and all day. And I remember one day we started talking about the trauma that I had been through. And she cried because she a crybaby. And I cried. And you know what she said? She said, I apologize.
Wow.
It felt like 1,000 years worth not feeling worthy. Because when you feel you're not worthy to be chosen, it does something to you.
Yes, it does.
When she said, I apologize, she never made no excuses. She didn't. She never made any excuses. She just apologized. And then later on, during another conversation, she would say, I was doing the best that I can. I thought I was doing right. I thought I was making. How could you be mad at somebody for that? How could you be mad at somebody for doing what they thought was best for you? But just that one conversation set me free from years. If I had let that moment pass, do you know my mother would have died without me ever getting my conversation?
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
That is so powerful because it's so many children that need that I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so many people that need that I'm sorry from somebody that hurt them. I need you to validate the fact that you was wrong or this was wrong.
Yeah.
And so back to Tony had your back. She posted it. She said 2 Samuel when she talking about Tamar. Come on, our sister
I
in the
couldn't
chat,
think in the
period.
moment. My mind is just
It's okay. It's okay. We don't expect. I don't have look this fireside chat. Oh, Tony, like I'm coming through, sister. It's Second Samuel. She say she believes it to be chapter 13, where you can read the story of Tamar, the young lady she's speaking of in the Bible that was raped by a brother. Okay, so we know ain't nothing new under the sun.
yes.
It's nothing new under the sun. But to your point about your pain being validated,
Mhm.
somebody listening to let you know that I care about you.
Yes.
Tony said that sometimes church hurt can be trauma, and it is,
Yeah.
and we overlook that.
Mhm.
We overlook that because we don't want to shame people or make
Yeah.
folks look bad. But it does us no good
Yes.
to try to protect folks
Mhm.
from their breakthrough or the mending
Mhm.
that God ordained. He ordained it that we
Yes.
should be able to mend with through apology and coming together and
Mhm.
confessing our faults one to another.
Yeah.
But you see how it took two. It took for
Mhm.
you to say, this is hurting me.
Yes.
And it took for her
Mhm.
to own some things because
Yes.
she wanted to see you free.
Right.
So you mean to
Mhm.
tell me that you love me, you care about
Mhm.
me, the love of God, you can ha ta ta lay your hands on me.
Mhm.
But when it comes down to me being healed because of something I need to hear you say,
Yes.
you gonna sit on it full of pride because you
I
don't
was
want to
gonna
look
say that's
like you
pride.
wrong.
That is pride, and you are holding up someone else's healing. Another thing she said, which again put the power back in my hands. My mother said the person that's the hardest to forgive is the people that never come back and apologize. She said some people ain't never gonna come back and say they sorry. Forget about it. They never
Yes.
gonna come back and own it. They will never come back and say what I said about you was wrong. What I thought about you was wrong. I spread a rumor about you and I found out it wasn't true.
Woo.
I should never have said that. She said they'll never do it. And you gonna have to learn how to forgive apologies you never received.
I was gonna say that's the famous quote. You're gonna have to receive the apology. You're gonna have to
Forgive the people
forgive the
that you,
people
yeah.
that never apologize to you, and it just like I've had to do it. I have
Mhm.
had to do it. Thank you for joining, nephew
That is
Dresky.
pride.
It's so good to
That
see
is
you in the
absolute
chat.
pride for you to. And that's another thing you were saying. Parents need to understand we are not always right.
You're not.
Just because we are the authority does not make us always right.
It does not.
You are prideful if you think your children always owe you an apology and you've done nothing to contribute to the breakdown of the relationship. Where is your
I
responsibility?
love it.
Where is your ownership in the fact that your relationship with your children has broken down? What part did you play in it? Now, yeah, some kids just can be disrespectful. We already know that. But sometimes we need to take a step back as parents and we need to apologize to our children. First of all, for not listening, for not
That's
hearing them
good.
when they were speaking, for not hearing their trauma. Some parents, I know some people that have told me they told their family that they went through sexual assaults and they were told they was lying. Like, that's horrible.
You have an opportunity to help your child, your sister, your brother, whoever it is that was assaulted, offended, done
Yeah.
wrong. When the person exposed that to you and you decide that you're going to discard them
Yeah.
and start telling them they lying and do what you want to do with it, don't get mad when they go to telling other people their truth and beginning to
Yes.
speak to
Yes.
set themselves free.
Yes.
It ain't about you.
Mhm.
It's about that person being free. But we have a bad habit of protecting
Yes.
the
Absolutely.
offender.
Yes.
You don't want to believe what
Mhm.
you don't want to believe that about this person. And you love them so much that you feel like I'm just going to kick you while you down
Mhm.
because what you're not going to do is assassinate a character that so happen to be the truth.
Yes.
Okay? It so
Mhm.
happen to be the truth. What you're not going to do is shush somebody
Mhm.
because they're going to find a way and they well within their rights
Mhm.
to be free. Michelle say this that we talking to her, we helping her. I'm so glad, Michelle,
Yeah.
my cousin Michelle Waits. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you're getting help
Yeah.
because we have to open up our mouth and speak
Mhm.
from a free place.
Yes.
It's not nobody is taking jabs. And what reason would you have to dishonor your mother?
Yeah. I would never do
None.
that.
You would never do that.
No.
It's not dishonor because you know that sometimes that's the guilt trip.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to talk about that because you don't want to hurt or dishonor them. And the whole time you already got to go through so much courage to
Yes.
be able to talk about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy to talk about that kind of stuff because you cannot predict the response of the
Yeah.
person. I don't know if they're going to receive me.
Yeah.
I don't know if she gonna get mad at me or he gonna get mad at me. However, I feel compelled to get this off of me
Yes.
because I want the relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
want it to mend. I want it to be okay. But it takes two people, and
Mm-hmm.
she could have damaged you further in that moment of
Mm-hmm.
vulnerability and brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
You needed her to
Yes.
say what she said.
I want to say this too. If you look at social media, you'll notice there are a lot of people going on social media bussing people out. There are a lot of people going on there saying, I was assaulted by this person or this happened to you. Want to know why people are doing that? Because there's not a safe place created for them to tell their truth behind the scene. And so people feel like they don't have a choice and they feel like they going to pick the best way they can to get it out. I don't think social media is a good tool for you to do it, but I know why people are doing that. People are doing that because we have not created a safe space for them to tell us what has happened to them, where they are offended, where they are hurt, where somebody has done something to them that really has scarred them. We have not created space and opportunity for them to tell us that, so that you know what they do? They pick up their phone and they hit live and go right on social media and start telling all the business that you should have gave them the space to tell behind the scene. That's why they on Facebook doing that. That's why they on TikTok doing that. They doing that because you have not created a space for them to tell you to your face what has hurt them. When you create I'm not talking about these fake safe places. That's not safe. No, 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 no. Because
Yeah.
I done seen a lot of advertisement of being safe, and we're not safe. We're not safe to the broken. We're not safe. We're
Help
not a
us.
real safe place.
Help us.
You want them to come and confide in you and get up and tell their testimony of how God brought them out and how they was delivered and how they used to be a prostitute or whatever. And before they can leave church, you kiki kaka and giggling about their testimony. What kind of safe place are you?
Mm.
Where is the real safe place? Create a real safe place. Put some type of program together for your family, your members, your students, where they can come and be honest and say, this has happened to me. That way, some of your business won't be all on social media. Your people
Mm.
won't be wilding out all on social media.
Yeah, Shemaya said that predators shouldn't have the privilege of privacy or protection.
Well,
You a predator. I'm trying to
yeah.
tell you. It's you can redemption, yeah. She say redemption, yes, forgiveness, yes, but keeping them under wraps is protecting the secrets. No.
Well, even the government don't allow you, especially when they find you guilty, they don't allow you to be covered up. They make you register. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? You have
Mm-hmm.
to go on the registry list. So I kind of agree with what she's saying. I just I just want people to I want my goal is to see you well. My goal
Let's
is
be
to see you
well.
heal. My goal is to see you well. But she's right with what she's saying because you really have to register. You can't go anywhere without being on the list.
We want to see you well,
Yeah.
not just alive, not just walking
Yeah.
around existing, but not living from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I found out life happens from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell when you're alive because when you enter a room, it's contagious.
Yes.
You begin to breathe life into others when you are alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, don't let trauma, don't let grief, don't let church hurt,
Yeah.
don't let divorce, don't let breakup, don't let no type of heartbreak keep you from living because you can be alive with a pulse, breathing every day and passing through this life, not living life, but just passing through your days. You look up and you are close to the grave. I
Mm-hmm.
love you too,
And I
Michelle.
did honestly, I did grief counseling. It's okay to go to counseling. There's nothing
It's
wrong
okay.
with that.
It's
I did it
okay.
more than once because I was not well. And I didn't want
Yes.
to be unwell. I was already delivered from being depression. I don't want to go back into something I was already delivered from, and I can feel myself creeping backwards into it. I'm looking at my patterns, I'm looking at my habits. Okay, you going backwards. So
Self
I did,
aware.
yeah, I did some counseling.
I'm happy for
Much
you.
needed.
I'm
Hmm.
happy for you. We weren't going back there no way. Cause where my sisters at in the chat, boy, we drawing our sword like try it. We love our dear sister. We all, just want to be in a place where we value each other
Mm-hmm.
enough to have a level of respect for where a person is in their life.
Yeah.
When they go through divorce, you know, when they lose a loved one,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when they lose their job and lose everything they have. It's so much humiliation in that. Like people now, they ain't got their link cards. Girl, it's a problem.
And people laughing and cracking up. It's almost like, what is funny about that?
That's not funny.
What is funny about somebody struggling and can't feed their family? There's nothing. That's not a joke. That's not a laughing matter.
Yes, Maria say I too went through grief counseling and it helped me immensely.
Yes.
You have to reach out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I love. I love that we came through a lot of stuff and evolved,
Mm-hmm.
and we have allowed God to help us not be what we went through.
Right.
I'm not going to be that person
Yes.
to somebody because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like the what it did for me.
Mm-hmm.
You learn how to turn your limits into lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
You learn the wisdom of God. You grow in wisdom
Yeah.
and stature, and you learn how to reach differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I think, in a sense, it's innocent because it's like, I really, 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 really want you to do this. I really, really want to
Mm-hmm.
see this. But in a broken place like that, it don't look genuine.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like you just want me to make it. It
Yeah.
look like I got a need and I need you to hurry up so you can go on. Kids do it all the time. Kids will you be like, listen, let me tell you something. Mom ain't my name today. You got to be intentional about your health, your
Yes.
mental health, being alive and well, whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like. I am so happy that we was able to have this conversation
Yes.
today. I am so happy to hear my sister speak and to be free. Because what if she wasn't free? She wouldn't have Tamar speaks.
Yes.
If you want the Tamar that had to speak first
Yep.
to set the
Somebody had
other
to
ones
go through it.
free.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So how cool is that, guys?
What
To
they
the
say, turning your
chat.
pain into purpose.
Turning pain into purpose. I
Yes.
live in that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Do
And being
you
for real about it, not a cliche, like really turning your pain into
It's a
purpose.
purpose. And
Yeah.
we gonna be hearing more from Miss Jackson in the future. I just believe that, y'all. I'm just a fly on the wall. I'm waiting to see her after coming through the cocoon, take up her wings and be this beautiful
Yeah.
butterfly. That's gonna just minister to the nations, y'all. Because we know she's pregnant with the nations in the spirit. I'm sorry, I'm going too deep so people don't understand that. But she's carrying something from the nations to all of the people in the chat. We just so excited y'all chose to tune in with us on this evening. I'm gonna have her back, y'all.
Let me see.
Go ahead, Miss
Hey,
Latanya.
Tanya. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Maria. Hey, Shemaya. Just sing you, Shemaya. Hey, Dre. Hey, Tony. Jewel. I love y'all. Hey, Yolanda. Hey, Kaya. Hey, sister cousin.
My cousin Tony, who I have not seen in forever. I want to acknowledge you, sweetie. I saw you in the chat. Thank you for joining me. I wish we can hook up and see each other in person. This has been a heated, in a good way,
Yeah.
conversation right here on Fireside Chat, IntellectualRadio.com, y'all. Until we meet again, y'all continue to be alive
And
and well.
well.
Hit the finish button. Hit the finish.
She's that flower that I picked up out the garden when the others didn't want to grow. She's my Gina, she's my Vivian, my fancy. It don't matter, I'm gonna play the role. She's